Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Everything is okay, I think. It is 9:30. Well, it's 25 to 10 here in the UK, which is probably the earliest we have ever gone live with the scoop. And just making sure that Graham's mic's off so you don't hear myself twice. So, yes, it's very, very early here. We don't usually go live until around about 10 o'clock in 25 minutes time. We all know that's a lie. But we have a lot of work being done in these two rooms in the next couple of days. So I'm trying to get this done as soon as possible before like the carpet fitters come in and just destroy the podcast itself, because I'll need to start hammering the carpet into the floor and whatever else that it needs to do. So we are going live extremely early. As soon as I came in this morning, we started working on the scoop, doing the thumbnail, gathering the news articles, sorting out the tweets, doing the stream titles and all that stuff that you tend to do with before you end up going live. That was all ready. Graham is going to the dentist soon, so you have only got me. I've got 5 news stories, I think, which I don't know if I'm going to get through them all. I'm going to run through these genuinely as fast as I possibly can while still trying to keep in order the show itself and make sure that it doesn't end up just becoming a fucking news at 10 kind of show. We will obviously be going through articles. We will be getting your thoughts and opinions as we go along as well. I've just realised that I haven't moved. I'm running around this morning down here that I forgot to actually put the confidence monitor on that screen so I can see my beautiful self. He's looking great today as well. He's got the Ill Vision hat on along with the retro-ish Manchester City shirt jumper from this year. Hoodie, shall we say, and Graham's cup as well, because some scab used mine yesterday after I'd washed it and put it on the draining board. So hopefully this won't have any Graham's bacteria. It was washed and put on the draining board as well. Good job it's not Lee's cup, otherwise we would have to probably nuke it. And I don't mean put it in the microwave, I genuinely mean fire it to the moon. But again, we've got, in fact, I've just seen we've got 6 news stories. We ain't getting through all this today. Definitely some of these are getting shelved. But this is The Scoop, the UK's #1 video game podcast, even if we do say it so ourselves, as voted by you guys, with over 130,000 of you guys that have watched, listened, downloaded, and tuned in every single weekday at 10 a.m.-ish. Over on twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads. If you are watching this at any of our on-demand services, we salute you. Thank you very much for doing so. Get involved with the conversation. Put your comments in the comment section below, because we always go back and want to keep the conversation flowing with you guys as and when we can. So yeah, I appreciate you guys following us this early. I mean, notification gang, stand up. As soon as the notifications came live that we was live, you guys was coming in going, well, has someone pressed the button accidentally for them to be able to go live? Do you know what I mean? Like, Tito, what the actual fuck is this fuckery coming in early doors? JMK with the what the hell doth mine eyes deceive me? Stupendous. How is hey, how is everybody? Is that going to be that's definitely going to be a new catchphrase now, isn't it? Pidge says first, you was actually third, my friend. Tito, good you, bit weird as I wasn't expecting it this early. I mean, there probably will be a lot of people waking up going, this can't be right. Someone's definitely knocked the button in the studio for them to be able to go live, because this is not possible. We're taking new carpets installed in the studio, so needed to go live early doors or not at all. I'm dentisting shortly, so it's a bibber dollop, says Graham, who's in the chat. Obviously, he's going to the dentist soon as well, and I've just explained, obviously, what's going to be happening in here for the next 2 days as well. So tomorrow could be interesting. Hopefully, everything will be back to normal tomorrow, depending on what time. If the carpet fitters don't come until like 4 p.m. today, you know what they're like. Any kind of builder, labourer, any kind of labourer will say they'll come today, or they just don't fucking turn up in some cases. Wait, I can do this. You know what I'm fucking talking about. Or don't turn up in some cases. Or they will say they'll come at a certain time. They might not arrive at that time. They'll come at 4 o'clock. Which obviously then puts everything else back. So hopefully we will still be able to stream from in the studio tomorrow. It could be a shit show. There could be more stuff knocking around. What you don't see in this camera frame here is fantastic. We've managed to make like an oval where nothing's kind of in shot. We've got so many boxes to this side. We've got TVs, monitors and everything over this side so that we can see what we're doing and sort the stream out as we go along. And then obviously we've got the screens and the camera. Wait until you guys, if we reach the 300 subs required on Saturday/Sunday, then you'll all get to see this. We'll obviously put the streams on and stuff like that for you guys to be able to be in the studio. If you haven't been in a studio like this before, it's very intimidating for the first time. I remember doing a Score Against Cancer event before I actually worked at Jelly Media, and there wasn't a wall here. It was all just one room, and then you had the stage with the carpet down here, and obviously what the old studio used to look like. We didn't have the screen behind us. It's just 2 tellies here, the desk, and the 2 chairs on the stage. And I swear to God, I was shitting myself. Like, it's so intimidating being in what you'd think is like a production studio, like a proper studio itself. Like if you go into ITV or Granada Studios or some whatever, depending on where you are in the UK, like Granada Studios, it's quite intimidating with all the cameras, all the screens, all the lighting and stuff. And it is shit yourself. Like, take this with a pinch of, don't take this with a pinch of salt. Genuinely, it was. So if you come to sit in this seat and you see all the lights start to come on you and you see the big fucking 4K camera behind with all the screens in front of you, a little bit intimidating, but it's lovely. Yeah, carrying on with it then. We are fine. Streaming at our own free will. Blinks twice. That makes 2 of us then, GMK, says Tito. I've already read that bit. 10 a.m-ish, take it to a new level. It's actually early. No, Graham. Now it all makes sense. It is kind of a running joke that when Graham's not here, we go live early. But because you need 2 people to go live when you're doing a show like this, so you're both working on each other's schedules. So obviously when Graham's not here, I have all my work to do as well, and if I've got a time slot available early doors, then I'll do it early doors. It might be later on in the afternoon if we've got loads of meetings in the morning, but there's a lot of Graham slander that goes on with this podcast, and I don't believe it. I remember us doing a 9 a.m. one shirt in the early days pre-COVID, yeah, because we had fuck all else better to do. It's Class shirt that. I love the blue and pink. I'm a sucker for that combo. I know, that's why I wanted it. I wanted the tracky bottoms as well, but they was like 50 quid, and I think this was like 45. I don't know why they was much more expensive, but I'll get them in the sale at some point. I love the blue one as well, because it has the same, all this is blue, and then it has still the teal and pink on the side. It's beautiful. I liked them put it back on the draining board. Fantastic. I creep myself out. The thoughts say the world is fucked. I see you at 9:30 is one of the first signs of the apocalypse. Lake, what the hell? Almost time for my coffee break, so nice. Big Zombie Monkey's in nice and early as well. Ice Cream Upload says there's some serious lean on the main camera though. I noticed that. Do you know what? I think because people keep on walking in and all the stuff's being moved. Like yesterday, we said the camera was pissed because it was just aiming up at the ceiling. This Logitech one over in the corner. Like, I think people have been knocking the cameras when we're not in here. Like, obviously this isn't just our studio. This is obviously the company's. So obviously because things have been moved in and out, people keep on bumping into stuff. One of the screens is just completely tilted. Like, it's just one of those. Like, we can't really do much about that. But yeah, we'll sort that camera out as and when the studio goes back to normal again, which hopefully will be sometime soon. Damn people ringing me when I'm trying to listen to the stream. Well, it's nice being in demand, isn't it, JMK? It's nice. Wait, did you get married recently? I feel like we've completely passed that by. Was it last weekend or the weekend before? I don't think we've mentioned it. I remember me and Graham wishing you luck, but I can't remember if we've spoken about it since. But anyway, we'll figure that one out. But you're here for video game news, and that's exactly what I'm here for too. I want to be able to give you some video game news whilst having a quick sip of my brew. Oh yeah. I mean, you probably wouldn't have heard that if you're on the phone. But we're I did on the 7th of May. Fucking hell. That's a month ago. I don't even know if we've spoken about it since then. But that was a long old time ago, so congratulations. Well, I'll make sure to put it in my calendar and remind me in 11 months' time to wish you a happy anniversary. But you're here for video game news. I'm here to be able to deliver you the video game news. And we're going to start with some big news. You may have seen the news story if you've seen the tweet go out over on Twitter or any kind of social media that we do, because we post it on everything. But E3 is looking to return in 2023, as written by Joshua Robertson over at The Gamer. And he states that E3 will return as a digital and in-person event next year. With Summer Games Fest currently in full swing, not many people are thinking about what events next year might bring. However, the ESA, a parent company of E3, has been keen to remind everyone that E3 will return next year as both a digital and physical event. Talk about trying to stay in the... Lumps, thank you very much for the sub, mate. I very much appreciate that. Thank you very much. It looks like you will be in next month's loot drop. By the way, steel plater, whichever it is, you have 24 hours. You have 24 hours to be able to claim your prize otherwise it gets rolled over. So if anyone knows them, get them in the Discord. Obviously, we aren't going to go chasing for people. We want people to be in our Discord. So the caveat's there. We tell you all the time. It's usually in our tweets. It's usually in the Discord. It's usually on our during the streams as well. So if they ain't there within 24 hours tomorrow morning, ladies and gentlemen, we will re-roll it for you guys. But yeah, Lumps, thank you very much for that. In an interview in the Washington Post, ESA President and CEO Stan Pierre-Louis has reiterated that E3 will return next year, explaining that while events such as Summer Games Fest and publisher-specific showcases like the Nintendo Direct and PlayStation State of Plays may dominate the digital space, E3 will always be relevant thanks to its physical events. Wow. It hasn't been relevant for 3 years, but sound off, mate. As much as we love these digital events and as much as they reach people and we want that global reach, we also know that there's a really strong desire for people to convene. They will also be able to connect in person. Jesus, butchering this. And to see other people talk about what makes games great, says Pierre-Louis. I think there is a space for physical shows. I think there is an importance of having a digital reach. Combining those two, I think we're a critical element of what we think E3 can provide. Pierre-Louis certainly isn't wrong. As well as Summer Games Fest has arguably overtaken E3 in terms of relevancy as a digital show, E3 still has plenty sizable presence as a physical event. However, how long that is likely is still unknown, as Jeff Keighley was spotted hinting at the possibility of a physical Summer Games Fest event in the near future. Most of this won't come as a surprise, though deeply connected to the games industry, as ESA did promise that E3 would return next year after announcing its cancellation of this year's event. Whether E3 will still be able to convince big publishers to hold an event at E3 rather than opt for Keighley's Summer Games Fest is another matter entirely. As for this year's festivities, Summer Games Fest is set to air later on this week on June the 9th, although Keighley has been trying to quell excitement for the show, explaining that it will be primarily focused on games that have already been announced. So, ladies and gentlemen, E3 still in the news and trying to stay relevant, which isn't a bad thing. They were one of the biggest, if not the biggest, video game news showcase in the world. Everyone knows what E3 is when it comes to video gaming, and that is when usually the calendars get marked for big events, big calendar releases, big shows, big games getting announced. That is the first point of call for many when it comes to showing what will be coming further later on this year. Like, this is the first time that you would start to see trailers getting rolled out for games that will be coming out around the holiday season, if you are from our American friends. A holiday season around Christmas time, you know what I mean. And I do feel like again, not a controversial statement, E3 has definitely slipped off the radar for a lot of people because they haven't been relevant for the last 2 years. Them cancelling shows, obviously due to the pandemic, that was entirely out of their control. However, this year, I genuinely did think that they would be back. I did think that there was a possibility for them to be able to try and take back some of the ground that they'd end up losing. I'm still not sure as to why. I don't think they've actually said why they've cancelled it this year. I may be completely wrong with that, so feel free to correct me if you do think that I am wrong with that. But I can't believe that they did actually cancel this year's show. Like, I know there's still a pandemic around the world. I know there's still areas of difficulty for people to be able to put shows on, but that doesn't mean that they couldn't have put a show on somewhere at some place. Maybe if it's in limited capacity, like football stadiums are open, festivals around the world are taking place at this moment in time. Liam Gallagher just had like 800,000 people at Nebworth watch him over 2 days. They had 75,000 people at the Etihad watching him. Do you know what I mean? So there is no way that you can convince me that it is because of COVID. I genuinely feel like they've reached out to a lot of people. They've given them a price. The people have said, nah, you're all right, mate. I'm going to put my stuff in Summer Games Fest. We've got our own shows. We're going to wait till Gamescom. Like, all of these other shows that are probably cheaper that will probably get them a little bit more airtime, and they are not competing with other big brands in the same small space at the very same time. I do think that has definitely something to do with it. E3 probably... my reasoning is I think that they have took this year off to revise how they actually have an in-person show and what that means for the companies that they want to try and get to promote their stuff at their show. Like, this isn't an easy decision for them to be able to make, to cancel it altogether, considering they have been out of the conversation for a while. As I've just mentioned, a lot of companies will be spending hundreds of thousands, if not millions of pounds to advertise at the likes of E3 previously. They've probably just thought, do you know what, we can actually save ourselves £750,000 and promote it ourselves. Or Big Jeff comes along and says, you know what, we'll do that for £200,000. Ka-ching, you've managed to get your promotion in there in Summer Games Fest, which... it's a very, very good show. Jeff Keighley's a very, very good host. He knows how to put on a show for everybody. He will probably give your game the respect that it deserves in an area which people are starting to focus as their main point of reference before Gamescom. What would you rather do if you had £1 million marketing budget to sell your 7 or 8 games this year? Would you spend the £200,000 with Jeff, or would you go to a trade show where you're probably going to get put at the back because you're not one of the big four, you're not one of the Call of Duties, you are not... Fortnite doesn't even need to attend these events, yet they still didn't have a massive playpen. They didn't even need people to be able to play the game. Do you know what I mean? So it's difficult world for E3 to be in because they were so far behind. And they've got a lot more catching up to be able to do. It is a crying shame because it was the first part of call for a lot of people when it comes to games being announced, being advertised, and what you can create and have during the holiday, Christmas, festive period. But hopefully they will start to get it right, and we will start to see a return next year where you think, okay, they're back with a bang, like they've done whatever they need to do. I'm just going to make sure that my phone messages are off, otherwise you're going to see pictures of my ass and no one wants that. Anyway, moving swiftly on, I'm just going to take a quick swig of my brew because that was a lot of words in a very short amount of time. Bit of Yorkie tea. Anyway, moving swiftly on to our next news article, written on VGC by Tom Ivan. He states that Sony Ben's studio reveals multiplayer plans for its new IP alongside a fresh new logo. The game will be built on the open world system of Days Gone. Fantastic. Just what you love to see. Spike's just perked up a little bit. Anyway, Sony Interactive Entertainment's Ben Studio has teased details about its next game alongside the reveal of a new company logo. Formed in '93 in Oregon, US-based studio has created the Siphon Filter series, what a game, Resistance, Retribution, Uncharted, Golden Abyss, and most recently, Days Gone. Bend Online community specialist Kevin McAllister? Kevin McAllister? As in Kevin from Home Alone? Kevin! Anyway, that's a little shit joke for you there. Provides a look back at the history of the studio in a new Sony PlayStation blog post, which ends the teaser of a development project. Obviously, the trailer for Days Gone, if you've not played it, play it. It's fantastic. PlayStation Studios boss Herman Hulse previously confirmed that Bend was working on a new IP that builds on the open world gameplay of the zombie shooter Days Gone, which was released on PlayStation 4 in 2019 and for PC in 2021. Today we are excited, this is a quote by the way, today we are excited to share just a snippet of the news on the news on our current project, Ben's McAllister wrote on Tuesday. We are currently working on a new IP that includes multiplayer and builds upon the open world system of Days Gone, but brings you a whole new world that we're extremely excited to craft for you. We cannot wait to reveal it when the time is right. Okay, let me just play this. Okay, so yep, it's a very Marvel flick book beginning there with a couple of games that they have in the background. I do like the new logo, to be honest. I feel like logos in triangles has been tried and tested and is starting to fall. I mean, ours has been here a while, but I feel like having logos in shapes, I feel like it's lacking imagination this day and age, in my personal opinion. Not to say our logo's been there a while, do you know what I mean? It's a fucking fantastic logo. However, I feel like putting stuff nowadays into shapes, I feel like it's tried and tested and a little bit bland. But yeah, for all intents and purposes, I do actually really, really like that logo. It's really cool. Well, game director Jeff Ross and writer John Garvin is the two most senior creators behind Days Gone, announced their departure from Bend in 2020. Both men had been with the studio, which was previously known for its eidetic from its origin days in the mid-90s, having written and designed PS1 action game Siphon Filter and its sequels. It was claimed the pair left Bend following internal conflict about the studio's future direction after Sony rejected a pitch for Days Gone 2. Ross announced last month that he had joined Tomb Raider Studios Crystal Dynamics as a design director. Whew. So, we haven't got a ton to go off here, if I'm being honest, and I realised that I covered up half the screen there, so I do apologise. We haven't got a lot to go off here, albeit we do have a new logo for the studio. We know that it's working on a new game, and we also know that it's going to have some multiplayer aspects of it using the engine which was used in Days Gone. That for me is a massive thumbs up. I really liked Days Gone. I'm going to say I didn't complete it because I got stuck at the fucking sawmill after playing it for like 50 hours nearly. Like, it was a long ass game. Really enjoyed being around, really enjoyed doing the little missions and the side missions and trying to 100% it until I got stuck at the sawmill. And honest to God, I spent like 2 or 3 days trying to do it. I probably could have dropped the difficulty down, but I was being a mad ass, and if I'm playing a game, I'm playing it on hard. I feel like medium is the way that they intended to play for you to be able to play a game. If you play it on easy, it just nerfs everything. But medium is probably the way that they intended to play it. However, hard, I do like a challenge, but that was a piss take. And my ego would not let me drop the difficulty down to medium to complete it, to do that mission and then bump it back up again. I'll probably go back to it at some point when I have more time. But I loved that game. I love the world. I love the environment. I love the story of it. So having a game that uses that engine in a multiplayer setting, I think that would be pretty cool. I think they've got a lot going for them there. Obviously, as well as a new logo as well, which does make it a lot more modern. Albeit, I do think you could put a load of new logos onto a piece of paper or onto a wall, and a lot of them probably will look quite similar nowadays. Let's be honest. There's a lot of imagination missing from design logos. We was talking about this yesterday with the Street Fighter stuff, like Street Fighter and I'm bringing up like Streets of Rage and things like that. They have very similar logos that have spanned nearly 30 years, and then they've just kind of changed the evolution of it with Street Fighter 6. Like, it looks completely different. It's a lot more modern. Again, it's inside a shape rather than it just being the branding. Like, it's one of those, but who am I to judge? Who am I to judge when I'm not a designer? Lumps give out 5 subs. I didn't see that. It came up on the screen saying it's subsubbed. I didn't realise he'd give out 5. Lumps, you absolute legend. Thank you very much for that. Hero. I must have completely missed that bit while I was reading the news story. So I do apologise that I missed that. However, 5 subs coming in from Lumps, you absolute legend. You've done yourself an injustice there in terms of you probably could have saved them for Saturday, and then you would have maybe pushed us towards us, eating spicy food or some shit. However, we are eternally grateful, so I very much appreciate you doing that for us. Tito says he's a massive PUBGer and normally hangs around Timeless Candy streams. Who are we talking about? I don't know who we're talking about. Are we talking about Lumps? I don't know. It made myself... Tito says, I made myself a caramel latte this morning. Matasimo spaffed out coffee grounds everywhere. It's going to be one of those days. That's an absolute devastation. Is he home alone? That kid is doing well for himself, says JMK. And Graham says, fair play to little Kevin. Massive childhood neglect, have PTSD. But for his life, managed to turn it around, and now he works for Sony PlayStation. Ben, that is one hell of a turnaround. His social worker must have done absolute bits for him. Speaking of which, I know this is slightly off topic, but does anyone watch American Horror Story? Like the latest season that they did, I think it was American Horror Stories, which is like the spin-off thing. He was in that. In fact, it might have even been the latest season of American Horror Story. He was in it for like 6 episodes of the new one. Like, he's still a fantastic actor. He looks weird because I haven't seen him knocking around for like 20 years, and then he pops up in that. He's still got like his little baby face on just like a really tall, skinny body. It's kind of disorientating, but he's still a fantastic actor. And I'm talking about Macaulay Culkin at this point. But yeah, watch it if you haven't watched it. It's fantastic. Lake says, eating some shit. Everyone gift on Saturday. Yes, absolutely. Eat a shit. Eating shit, yeah. Well, I've got 50 nuggets on there as well, which I'm super looking forward to because I don't know how much food that we're going to be eating throughout the day. I don't really want to be sat here like I do most of the time. Oh, I'm stuffed, Graham. Graham, pass me a little slice of pizza. I don't want to be like that the entire day, which is obviously why I put stuff in there like me doing keepy uppies and that. I'm not like Graham. Graham can sit there for 13 hours and play PUBG without even having a sip of water. That is not me. I have to get up and I'm knocking about. You've seen it when I stream from home. After an hour, I'm standing up, I'm walking around, I'm going getting a drink, I'm going for a piss. I need to stand up. I can't sit down for that long. My head falls apart. I just need that like 20 seconds just to refresh, whereas he'll sit here for 13 hours. So me doing keepy uppies outside, hopefully it's pissing it down, it's nice and cold, just feel that wind blowing on your face, you know what I mean, get all the elements in there. Hopefully that will be the case on Saturday. Again, it's all down to you lot to try and make that happen. Okay, moving swiftly on to the next news article then. Written on VG247, this has been written by Ush, and he says that Escape from Tarkov Arena is a standalone COD-like take on the hardcore shooter, which is tested a new shooter will take place this autumn. Escape from Tarkov, the first-person shooter with an emphasis on realistic gameplay, is getting a competitive spin-off called Escape from Tarkov Arena. Battlestate Games, developer of the title, announced a new title over on its Twitter account, paired with the new short teaser trailer. The new title looks to be more of the base game, just with the competitive flair found in other shooters. There isn't I have got a cookies turned off on this. Don't know where it's gone. It's pissed. Otherwise, I would have played it. Escape from Tarkov Arena is a standalone game project. Sinter just pressed her face up against the wall. That really freaked me out a little bit then. A session-based multiplayer first-person shooter with PC and known and beloved hardcore game mechanics of Escape from Tarkov, writes Battlestate Games over on Twitter. The thread explaining the games goes on to say that you will take part in a gladiatorial battle in various arenas in the city of Tarkov, which apparently has been arranged by a group of arena masters led by the host, at least from an in-game lore perspective. There's set to be both PvP and PvE game modes though Battlestate didn't explain how either of those modes will manifest. And it seems like there will be some kind of rating system too, as well as weapons and gear unlocks. Battlestate also says there will be a unique feature for those that own the main game, such as being able to play as your main character. Those that own the Edge of Darkness pack will be able to get the arena for free as part of DLC, but aside from that, you'll have to pay for the spin-off. And it isn't tied to the main game, so if you're not interested in the MMO hardcore shooter, you don't need to own it already. Close testing is currently scheduled to take place this autumn, this year, and will likely be out just be for more experienced players. As a yet release hasn't been set, but we probably will expect more in the following tests. So there's a little video for you here. See if I can... Okay, this doesn't want to go full screen, so I suppose we'll just have it on that part of the screen. If you haven't seen it, there it is. Those of you that know what Escape from Tarkov is, very, very, very detailed, difficult first-person looter shooter. This is obviously taking inspiration, which looks like Terminal, if I'm being honest there. In the Call of Duty landscape. They probably want this to be an esports game going forward. I don't know how successful this is going to be, because Escape from Tarkov is a completely different type of shooter than just your normal first-person shooter. So, yeah. I'm excited to see what the kind of gun mechanics are in this, because I feel like these types of games live and die by that, which is obviously why Escape from Tarkov has been such a big hit. In terms of how the gunplay is, how difficult it is, the risk and reward. If this is just a shoot and spawn game, I don't know how well this will do in the current market. I mean, with Battlefield falling off, there is obviously a massive space for someone to be able to jump in and take the mantle from them. Is Escape from Tarkov the type of game to do it? I feel like on reputation alone, it has the ability, but what the game isn't what this is going to be. So that's a very difficult situation for the world to walk down. I suppose we'll see as the news comes out and the more playtests that begin with it. We can start to see how this game starts to shape up. But I'm glad that we've got more games like this in the world. I feel like we've always been in a Call of Duty Battlefield world, and other games like Hell Let Loose have started to come along just to try and steal some of the ground from those games, albeit quite successfully, but not as successfully as it should do. Games like Squad had a massive, massive, massive explosion over on Twitch, but I haven't seen many people play that. I think I might have seen Summit play it maybe 3 weeks ago, but I haven't seen anybody else on my follower list playing it. So, yeah, I'm excited to see more from it because I do really want to play Escape from Tarkov. However, I know I'll be shit at it. And the whole point of being able to drop in and do the risk and reward stuff, I am far too aggressive. For those of you that have watched me play first-person shooter games or any kind of shooter game. Oh, we've got a new sub as well. Lotus coming in with a 10-month. Appreciate that, homie. Thank you very much. Yeah. I haven't got my headset on, but I just heard it in the corner of my ears over there that the TTS was doing something. So, yeah, thank you very much, Yinan. Your dad sells Avon. You know what I mean? I've forgotten where I was up to now. Forgotten what I was saying. You've spoiled it. You've spoiled it. I'll take a sip of my brew as a thank you. Lake says, I can too play 12 hours in a row. I just need to eat in between. JNK says, create a stretch channel point, redeem. Yeah, that's a fair play. We do probably need to do that. My record is like 18 hours on NHL 99. I mean, you're not doing that recently though, are you? Like, if I'm talking about when I was a teenager, I ain't moving for love nor money. But now I'm an old man. I'm 31 years old. I feel like I'm talking like I'm like 78. Do you know what I mean? But at 31 years old, I can't stay awake for more than 18 hours. Like, I've got to a point. This is, you're peeking behind the curtain here. A day in the life of Bibby. So when I come to the office in the morning like this, I'm up at 5:15 in the morning to be able to set off at about 6 o'clock to get here for around 7:15, 7:30. Don't start till 8, so I will be here until 4 o'clock. I will get home around about 5:30, 6 o'clock, depending on traffic. Bath the boy, then feed the boy, then put the boy to bed, then make our tea, then I'm in bed, then I go for a shower, probably watch something on TV, like watching Dope Sick at the moment. If you haven't watched that, watch it. It's fantastic. Michael Keaton is a fucking legend. Such a good series so far. And then I'm in bed for 9 o'clock. I do not look at my phone after 9 o'clock nowadays. I am in bed with my little nightlight on, reading a book. That is my life at this moment in time. So me trying to stay up for 24 hours is going to be one of the hardest things I genuinely think I will ever have to do. At 31 years old, I've just give you a day in my life. When it gets to weekend, I am up, I'm out with the boy, whether or not we're going to Baby Sensory or I'm going to a coffee shop like I did last weekend. Do you know what I mean? That is my life now, and I am happy with the structure that I have in my life. However, trying to stay up in this studio when it's fucking sweaty hot, and I'm sat next to Graham and he's always on, he's always at like 1000%, he's screaming after 14 hours because he's just got beat in a final circle by someone throwing a pan at him. Like, that's the energy that I need for me to be able to try and keep going. However, I'm just going to be like fucking falling. You know what I mean? The Pro Plus are going to be on standby. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, that's the day in the life of Bibs. Big Zombie Monkey says, far too aggressive in FPS where you are. In FPS games, I am. That's where. Thank you. That's where I was. That's what I was up to. Spike. At least you're paying attention. So when I'm playing a shooter game, I am way too aggressive. In Fortnite, I can hear shots going in the corner. I'm running over to the shots to try and clean up. Do you know what I mean? Like, I am not a defensive player. I am not a reactive player. I am an aggressor. Like, if I'm on a battlefield and I hear shots going off, I'm going towards it. I might not win, but fuck me, I will die trying. I want the thrill. I want the excitement. I want the nervousness running into the battle. Do you know what I mean? Surely you guys that have played FPS games will understand that. Unless you're a very conservative, reactive player in Battle Royale where you're hiding in bushes until the last circle, you guys can fuck yourselves in a very polite way. Go and bugger yourself. Old man, please, says Lake. Lotus says good. JNK says, I feel your pain, man. I'm not a young man anymore. I stumble out of bed at 8:30 and eat some cereal, stumble to my desk for 9 a.m. My main commute is hell, says Tito. But yeah, that record is a long time ago. I can push 12 to 15 hours easily now on foot. Lump says moose juice. I mean, that is all an option, but I mean, Pro Plus is probably the way to go. Taze Bad says, hi all. I mean, you can't believe this is as early as you think it is. This is probably your early evening rather than it being at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Lois says, by the weekend, I'm all burnt out and can't function. Ugna Badger says, that sounds like an addiction. Addiction. Oh, we got a follower as well. Source Jedi, thank you very much for the follow. Very much appreciate it. But yeah, the addiction to the thrill, to the ecstasy, not the tablets, of battle. That's me. That is me. But thank you very much for joining us in the chat. If it's your first time joining us here, always feel free. We have a very welcoming community. We don't usually go live this early. We usually go live a little bit later in the afternoon, but there is stuff that needs to be done in this studio and in the room next door, so there will be a lot of banging. I'm trying to get through this as fast as possible. Lois says, never nervous, stone cold killer. You can see it in my eyes. You see it in my... Yeah, that's my battle face. I'm still deciding on what I'm going to be wearing for Saturday. I'm still undecided. I don't know whether or not I should go with trackies. I'll go with shorts. I'll go with jeans. I'll go with a hoodie. Do you know what I mean? It's a long ass day. You don't want... in fact, I'm probably going to bring various clothes, shirts. You don't want to be in the same clothes for 24 hours. It doesn't work. Norman live at 10-ish. Discarded you that schedule last set if you want to show it off. Ah, okay. Ping. Let's get rid of all my ass. Fantastic. Okay, so copy image link. Put it on this. So this has all been signed off now, so we are good to show this off. As mentioned various times throughout this and over the last week or so, we are doing a subathon on Saturday to try and push towards 300 subscribers, to try and get you guys, the ICU community, the guys that have supported us from day one and ever since, to get you into this studio, to be able to play games. We've got new meeting rooms being put in over there. So we're going to have a load of games. We're going to have beers. We're going to have food. We do have stretch goals where we could potentially have barbecues and things like that. But the main part of call is to try and get to 300 subs to be able to afford to get all of you guys in here and to be able to give you a day full of video games, beers, and good old times, as well as being obviously inside the studio and we get some streaming going and stuff like that. However, we've got the streaming asset here ready for you guys to show you what we are going to be playing and what the day will shape to look like over on Saturday. So I'm going to move myself over there because you know the URL, you're here already. So schedule breakdown, 10 a.m. we will be going live, or we will be aiming to go to live as soon, as close to 10 a.m. as humanly possible, whilst trying to set the studio up at the same time. So 10 a.m. till 1 p.m. we're going to be playing some PUBG, so feel free to let us know if you're going to be around for that. We'll be able to get you into some games, as well as Fortnite from 1 p.m. till 4 p.m. I've got a load of daily challenges that I need to get sorted out. Don't know if Graham's got the battle pass yet, so that could be a fun 3 hours or so. Over on that. I'm looking forward to that one. Then 4 till 7, you choose. We will let you know in the chat, probably through a poll, as to what you want us to be able to play next. We will have our PlayStation 5, we'll have our Xbox, we'll also have the streaming PC set up with Xbox Game Pass, so we will be able to download whatever it is beforehand. I will probably download 3 or 4 games before we go live, so that we're not draining the internet as we're trying to download something, because sometimes it can crash. Not as much as Graham's, but it can crash, obviously, the stream if we are taking all the bandwidth. Then from 7 p.m. till 10 p.m. on PlayStation 5, which is why I strongly hinted about you guys picking up FIFA 2022 over on the PlayStation 5 when it was a free game that month. We are going to be playing some pro clubs for around 3 hours. I was meant to check whether or not the cups are open. I haven't done that, so I can't even do it upstairs because I've got it on my PlayStation 5. Well, hopefully the cups will be open this weekend, so we'll be able to get in as many of you guys into a Discord and we'll play some Pro Clubs action. Someone buy me a PS5, says Tito. So yeah, that is what our first 12 hours is shaping up like. Obviously, every single sub, every single donation, every single bit that gets put on adds time to this. So moving past the 12-hour mark, we have some Masters of the League, which I need to try and get the players sorted out for that, to try and emulate what we had in the past, as well as some Gang Beasts action over. If you have if you have Xbox Game Pass, it's available on that. Get that downloaded. We'll have some good times with it, and then we return back to the YouTube segment. Whether or not we reach that far, I am not sure, but we'll be able to put some more games on the screen for you guys. Whether or not we return back to PUBG or Fortnite, I'm not again. I'm not too sure. It could be that both times you want to play PUBG and you want to play Fortnite again, so the Fortnite could end up being a 6-hour stream at that point, or you guys want to return back to PUBG. We're not too sure, but that is what our day is shaping up like, to spend the afternoon, well, the entire day with you guys. We do hope that you can join us for that one. We will be relying on you guys to get you into the Discord to try and keep us awake and to try and get some good times out of them, because I can guarantee I'm definitely going to be flagging at some point. Graham, again, is just always on, so whether or not he flags, I am not too sure. But it's good to know that we always got you guys to rely on. Looking back through the chat then, I've got it on the screen. Okay. I seriously need glasses. Like it's becoming more difficult to read that over there. Normally live at 10 a.m-ish. Badger says, I'm a slow play style to give me a sniper or an auto or a pistol. Let me find a spot in a circle and wait. Oh, he's a defensive reactive player. Yeah, I mean, the revolver on Fortnite is fantastic. I love that. It really does rip when you connect with it. But the sub-SMG on Fortnite is by far my favourite gun. If you can hit every shot on that, you can melt someone in about 3 seconds. It's fantastic. Lake says, yeah, no shiz addiction. Graham says, man's bringing PJs. Tino says, shit shirt, so you've been wearing that. What are you wearing now then? Fantastic banter. Sponsored by Spam. Yay! Spam, the breakfast of foods of gods. We don't have a cooker in here. We don't have a hob. So I mean, as much as I love Spam and I love eating it cold, there is nothing better than a Spam with a little bit of brown sauce. Even the Branston brown sauce, if you've not tried that, get that on it. Get on that. As well as a fried egg, do you know what I mean? That's what you want. There is a bakery around here, so we could just be stocking up for the day. 14 Spam butties on the side, and we'll just warm up as we go along or something. I'm there for some gang bang action, says Tito. Oh, it's gang beast. We'll earn loads of channel points this weekend. Exactly. Gamescom tickets coming. Incoming is worth a mention, says Lake. There you go. Boom. You and Graham can actually meet each other because Graham is going to Gamescom as well. Spike says, if Spam is on the menu for the meet, you're going to be puking the next day. Why is that? Why is that? Spam is fucking incredible. You look like a man that loves Spam. Who doesn't? But anyway, we've got a couple of news stories. Do you know what? How long have we on for? 46 minutes, give or take. We've been live about 40, so I may be able to try and get 2 done. I feel like this is a very good jumping off point. We've been talking about what we're going to be playing this weekend. This is Nacho's favourite part of the stream. Fortnite news, yay! Let me move myself back over. Just go up here. There you go. Graham's not here, so I'll do it for him. So Fortnite, new leaks suggest that a first-person mode and motorcycles are coming to Fortnite. Written for the first time over at Fortnite Tracker, a website that I seem to spend a lot more time on than I ever thought I would do. But here we are. Written by James Peskett. Fortnite fans could soon be experiencing the hit Battle Royale game from a whole new perspective. The recent launch of Chapter 3 Season 3 brought a wealth of exciting new content to Fortnite Island, including weapon changes, the addition of new unique bloom, and even a feature that allows players to grow and harvest mythic loot from a reality sapling. Despite all of this, Epic has always multiple steps ahead, and they're already working on a number of fun feature updates, and data miners have got an inside scoop. Not the show, they've just got the inside scoop, do you know what I mean? Anyway, motorcycles. First up, a brand new vehicle is under construction according to the popular leak at Hypex. Motorcycles could be on their way shortly, and there is a picture of them as well as the embedded tweet. It looks pretty cool. This is going to take me over to Twitter now, isn't it? This is where you find out that I've blocked you all. Let's have a look at this. Oh, it looks good, doesn't it? It looks good. It looks mega. And then what's this? This surfboards. Yeah, that's mint. Yeah, it's a surfboard. So yeah, it looks like we're getting new methods, new ways for people to be able to get around on Fortnite. Let's go back to this. Let's go back to that. Boom. And then they will also reportedly use the same animations for riding animals, another fresh mechanic for Season 3. Hypex added that motorcycles will have 2 seats, as well as a boost and drift abilities. These could also be an interesting alternative to cars for rotations. You would likely be sacrificing protection for increased speed and handling. The tweet also mentioned that the summer surfboards have been added back, but not yet clear whether they will be in Battle Royale or just limited to the creative mode. Moving on to the first person mode then. Now for the big news is another post from Hypex confirming that Epic is working on some stuff about a first person camera mode. Look at that. It looks cool. I've always wanted to see what Fortnite would look like in first person, especially on a mega PC or your PlayStation 5 or your Xbox Series S. I think it would look quite beautiful, and what that would mean for the shooting mechanics, obviously, because there is, it goes on Twitter. Attaches the image showing how this could look. It appears to be in early development, so there is no other information available yet. This means that we probably won't be seeing it in-game for a long time, though it's definitely still cool to think about. Epic has sort of lightly experimented with this already in Chapter 3, with the arrival of the scoped weapons like the MK7 that go into first person when you aim down the sights. It'll be intriguing to find out how they incorporate first team mode on a large scale. Could there be items on maps location temporarily alter your perspective, or a whole new game mode? There's no clear timescale for either motorcycles or in first person mode, so for now we can focus on enjoying Fortnite Season 3. However, it's always great to know that there's plenty more content coming our way. So there we have it. More Fortnite news, a new perspective, potentially, and new modes of transport to try and get around the map. Massive fan of what we could potentially be getting with the first-person camera angle. I've always thought that playing PUBG in first person is the best way to play PUBG. I don't know why. I feel like you see a lot more in third person. It's a lot easier to be able to peek around corners. It's a lot easier to be able to see over crates if you're hiding behind them. It is just a lot easier in general because your field of view is much bigger. However, there's always something quite beautiful about playing a game in first person. Not just because obviously you feel like you are playing the game, you are simulating that action, but it's just the thought of your peripheral vision it's like you're wearing blinkers. You can only see in front of you. You have to rely on fantastic audio to hear what's going on around you, to have the surprise of hearing someone and then having to turn around to see them, rather than, slightly moving the analog stick when you're in third person to see a whole new perspective behind you. Like, I always think it's a lot better playing shooter games in first person. I'm not against the third person aspects of it. I feel like obviously that's what's made Fortnite and the likes of PUBG famous, shall we say, because you can use both. In terms of PUBG, you can. In Fortnite, or Fortnite, it's been put to everything. I feel like there is definitely room for you to be able to do that. I hope it's not a brand new a new game mode though, because since they brought the zero build in, it has increased the amount of time that you are waiting for a game. Not by much, but it has significantly increased it. They've done this with the likes of PUBG before, and you are just waiting around forever and a day to be able to try and find a game because there's so many different, you got a solo, duo, trio, squads, then you've got the different maps and things like that. Like it is, the queue times are quite long, and now you have the same, but in 2 different areas in Fortnite. So at the moment, because it's a brand new season, it's quite easy to find a game. Like, you find them pretty fast. However, towards the end of the season, it might take like 30 seconds, a minute, whereas obviously in PUBG it can take up to like 3. But we're getting there. I do like the new perspectives. It's nice to be able to keep on evolving the game. Spike says because spam is AIDS. Disagree. Tino says nah, I think it's pigs, snouts and anuses. Probably. Lump says barbecue spam fritters, not a fan of that. Yeah, it would be nice to see. Graham says Lake. You can use items while on the hog on walls, which is great to be able to heal more, says JMK. I'm there Monday to Friday. What days are you going? Says Graham. Over to Lake. When's it open to the public? Is it Thursday? I can't even remember. Right, I've got time for one more news story, and it's a news story that I've bumped a million times. It's going to get bumped again today because I feel like it's definitely one that I can't talk about. It's about the loot box situation again. I can't talk about this on my own because it's just a one-sided conversation. No one wants to have that because it's just me giving my opinion. Then it's always better when you have something like that, which is a very sore subject, to have 2 different perspectives. If you both have 2 different perspectives, I'm fairly certain me and Graham will have that. But anyway, moving over to our last news article of the day then. Written on Eurogamer by Matt Wales, he states that Hideo Kojima reportedly developing a horror game called Overdose, starring Death Stranding's Margaret Qualley. Qualley? Maybe, not sure. Hideo Kojima, designer of the legendary Metal Gear series and 2019's Death Stranding, is reportedly working on a new horror game starring actress Margaret Qualley called Overdose. That's according to Cease leaker Tom Henderson, who is writing for Try Hard Guides, claims to have already sent early footage featuring a character portrayed by Qualley, who previously played Mama in Death Stranding, roaming through the dark corridors with a flashlight in her hand. What does that sound like? That's according to Ceaseless Leaker. I've just read that. I don't know why I'm reading it again. Henderson also says that a sequence displayed for a third-person perspective, although a first-person mode is also rumoured, culminates in a jump scare that brings the game over message up on screen that reportedly followed the caption, a Hideo Kojima game Overdose. This wouldn't be Kojima's first dalliance with horror. Of course, the designer was set to direct a new entry in Konami's beloved Silent Hill series, a partnership that began infamous with the teaser playable teaser PT. There we go. I mean, the PT is the abbreviation for playable teaser, which completely threw me off. But anyway, the project was officially cancelled in 2015 after a very public fallout with the publisher. In recent years, however, Kojima has dropped a number of hints suggesting a return to the horror genre, with famed manga artist Junji is also potentially involved. Overdose's emergence would certainly tie in with Kojima's hints at wanting to make the scariest horror game, but it's unclear whether or not the project, assuming its veracity, may get a proper reveal. That said, word began to spread last summer that Microsoft was in talks with to publish a Kojima Productions' next title, so perhaps this Sunday's Xbox Bethesda showcase might be a good place to start. Overdose, if real, would be the second project rumoured to be in development at Kojima Productions recently. Actor Norman Reedus said that he just started working on a second Death Stranding game, although a sequel has yet to be unveiled. So, this has been in the pipeline for a while. We've known since PT that Kojima has wanted to do a new horror game. PT was probably one of the best, shortest horror games of a generation. There's obviously a reason why, but I think there's still PlayStation 4s on eBay going for a stupid amount of money, which has this game on the account because you can no longer play it. You can play fan versions of it where people have basically just ripped the game apart and remade it. But to play the original Kojima version of the game, I think the PlayStations are still going for quite a lot over on eBay. I do think he's got the ability to be able to make a mega horror game. I think it'll be batshit crazy like every other game that he's made. I don't think it'll be as straightforward as it's just going to be a horror. The storyline is going to send you around. It's probably going to blow your head. It's probably going to make you fill your knickers quite a few times, which is obviously what you want from a horror game. So I'm excited to see what this is going to show. I'm excited to see what we could potentially get from it. I do think it's going to be shitty pants scary, which is exactly what I want from a horror game. I don't want it to just be a few jump scares. I want it to blow my brain apart. I want it to make me think about, is this going to be the jump scare? Then it's not. Then I go around the corner, there it is. Do you know what I mean? That's what I want from my horror games. That's what I got with Resident Evil 7, and that is where the turning point in horror games for me started to come again, because it wasn't just about having zombies in the game that might jump out at you. It was all psychological. Psychological horror, for me, is the best form of horror games, not just there's a zombie there, shoot it. Is it going to jump at you? Is it going to leap? Is it going to lick your face? Do you know what I mean? All these different variations of what Resident Evil has given us over the years. The turning point for me was 7, where they started to get into a little bit uncharted territory for Resident Evil in terms of a psychological horror game. The Ver says, hello, good morning. It feels weird saying good morning, by the way. Lake says Monday and Wednesday in Frankfurt, Wednesday, Monday in Cologne. Spike has put some falling asleep emojis. I'll get back to you in the disco. Busy at work now, says Lake. He's just going to be throwing shapes. Alert isn't in there yet. We have got the command in there, but the sound stuff I will put in this afternoon. Graham says, no worries, I'm just heading to the dentist anyway. So yeah, does anyone have any thoughts on the Kojima stuff? Where is the work experience by? He's getting his tooth sorted out. But yeah, I do think that is... thank you for the follow as well, Lever. I very much appreciate that. You guys have been very generous today. Lumps with the 5 community subs, as well as Lotus coming in, as well as Lumps actually subbing himself. You guys, absolute legends. Thank you very much for that. It leads us very nicely onto Saturday, where we'll be doing the subathon. I hope you guys can join us. It does look, as it stands, 209 subs is what we need to be able to hit our target. It is quite a lot, and we would not expect you to be able to put your hand in your pocket if you genuinely couldn't afford it or you wasn't interested in coming to the studio. We're not begging for you guys to be able to give us money for our own pockets. It will genuinely fund the day for you guys to get up here full of food, full of beers, full of games, full of consoles, for whatever. We very much appreciate you guys helping us along the way. We wouldn't have set it up if you guys wasn't genuinely asking for to come to the studios in the first place. So yeah, 10 a.m. on Saturday, and probably 10 a.m. on Sunday we'll still be live as well. So join us at either one of those days if you want to get involved in playing some games with us. But we'll be back. What day is it? Wednesday. I think Graham is streaming this evening. It is on the schedule. Whether or not his tooth's going to be that fucked that he can't talk, I'm not too sure. But obviously, you're here now. If you've not already followed, do so. You'll be notified when we do go live. But barring that, we'll be live 10 a.m. from this very studio tomorrow with the next episode of The Scoop. So if you want to help shape that show, there's 2 ways that you can do so. First of all, find us on social media. It is at Ice Cream Uploads across all major social media platforms. Or alternatively, get involved with our Discord. All the links that you require will be listed in the description below. But all we need from you is the URL plus your first impressions. We will then give you our first impressions on the very next show at 10 a.m. tomorrow. Stick around. We're going to raid one of our friends, so please go over, say hi. If you need to say hi and bye, absolutely no problems with that, but you will get some sprinkles to go towards some of the stuff that we have on this channel. But as always, guys, there's always one thing that I want you to do, and that, my friends, is to stay frosty.